In connection. Hey guys, how's everybody doing today? Hopefully you guys are doing great. Always good to be on another live here. See how you guys are doing. You know, something that you want to consider is how remarkable your body is, like the cells in your body. If you ever doubt that you can create or manifest, you should have an idea of how the cells in the body work through the laws of quantum physics. How you guys doing today? Yes, catching alive. Hey man, I'm gonna pop on here for a little bit. How's everybody doing? Did you know that all the cells in your body, right? They listen to your subconscious mind. We talk through sound waves. We call them vibrations, energy, things like that. Hey, what's up? And one of the ways that you can get results is always cautious of what you're feeling in the moment, or basically how you're feeling, man. Because how you feel will talk and tell the cells what to create. And what does that go? What does that show you? It shows you that reality is something that we're just perceiving over and over again. It's like you're making it as you go. There's no solidity to it, because based on how we feel is what we attract. Think about that. What we feel, we're going to attract, right? You see that that's one way you can tell that this is kind of like a simulation, right? This is the best way to tell you're in a simulation, man. That, you know, hey, how you doing? It's based on how you feel. All right, so let's see. On board. Think about that. How we feel really dictates what we're going to attract. You can do a lot of stuff with this. You can actually slow your aging down, because, you know, your DNA has what we call the telomeres on it. Those telomeres, you can slow them down. You can speed them up. You know, look, all of us you're going to go through stress in your life. It's going to happen. What do you think about the law of assumption? Yeah, the law of assumption is basically, it says this: you always get what you think. That's basically the law of assumption. Whatever you think, you're going to get it, point blank. You like to slow your telomeres down. So if you want to slow your telomeres down, then you want to reduce the stress in your life. I know it's easier said than done. But the stress is what causes the cells in our body to get like messed up, inflammation, a lot of stress. One powerful thing that you can do is using the physics of ionization. So what is ionization? You have negative ions. So within the earth is grounded. So first of all, you and I, we are electrochemical magnetic beings. So we're bioelectrical beings. Keep that in mind. We're like a walk-in communication of magnetism and electricity. So one of the most important things that can help you is what you call grounding. Grounding is basically where you can spend 15 to 20 minutes a day barefoot outside the earth, sitting down with your feet touching the ground, the sand at the beach. What that actually does is, when you ground, see all those ions that you gathered in, they have no way to go out your body, because your shoes act as soles, as insulators. So they stay in our bodies, and they create all this stuff, information. They create free radicals, which destroy the cells. But when you can ground, it sends all that energy back into the ground, and then the ground sends back to you to what's called more positive charge ions, which oxygenates your blood, makes you more happy, and makes you more healthy. There's actually studies done on this where they took red blood cells that grounded 24 hours versus ones that didn't. And you can see the clear symmetry of it. So that's just to show you. That's to show you that we are truly connected as one. There's nothing. There's separation is a is an illusion, nothing separate. And the secret is learning to mold that, learning to stay on that frequency. See that? So if you can ground yourself like every day, 20 minutes a day, you'll see big improvement. 1 week, you'll see a whole lot of change. We have Gigi Nail says, I've always felt younger than my age. Literally 27 people say, yep, because everything is our perception. Mm-hmm. Will you be recording any podcast soon? So the podcasting, I'm going to be doing that with my main channel. I'll throw some podcasts up on it, but the other channel, I'm just going to use it to create materials that I had before that was on the other Delivery Creator channel. So we're going to make that channel that. And I mean, this is like a podcast here because you guys can chime in if you want to come in and have questions. So it's just, I like this format here on Instagram. It's open. God's Dream says, what you got here? What if a person that's around me doesn't believe in what I'm manifesting? Can their belief affect my manifestation? Yeah, their belief can affect your manifestation if you believe it can. So if you're with someone that isn't investing in you or doesn't believe in you, their belief that you can't do it and your belief that they believe you can't do it will affect your manifestation. See? So the thing is, we got to find ways to deter from negative people, negative programming. What about those of us, Spice Nice with Deneen says, what about those of us in cold weather and apartment buildings? Yeah, and that's an interesting one. They have, I think you can find indoor gardens, parks, and things like that where you can ground yourself. Even if you're cold, if it's not snowing, you can go outside. You can spend a couple minutes outside. If it's not freezing, then you can stand out on the ground. Even the ground is frozen, it's still, as long as it's not snowed up, you can still ground yourself. And there's other ways you can ground yourself too. You can research on that. Rosie says, "Hi Mark, what is the meaning of dreaming about red wine and big bread? Prosperity, good stuff coming, abundance. That's the meaning of that. Can certain crystals really protect us from people negative thoughts about us? Yeah, certain crystals can, because guys, remember this game is about resonance and attunement. It's about, let's see the best way I can put this to you. It's all about the frequency you're at. And the thing with crystals have what's called a lattice structure. It means that these crystals, the way they're arranged, they're really good at tuning energy. So if you can get a crystal like an amethyst, which is really good at clearing negative energy, what the amethyst does, it clears out a lot of like low density negative energy, and you can use that to help charge you. So yeah, crystals, because we live in a vibrational universe, right? Yeah, someone says, so who's this here? Celebration. Sharon says, I've heard getting sunshine in the morning is important to prevent depression in winter. Yes. Sunshine, being out in the nature. Workers Capital. Mark, every day I see 777 and 888, but nothing in my world is changing. What should I do? You do nothing. Remember, though, these signs, when you see 77 and 888, they are just indicators. They're showing you that you're on the path. They're just signs. So signs will lead to a certain physical manifestation. So when you see the sign, just appreciate them, but stop looking, because remember, each day we're impressing our unconscious mind. So if I keep looking, it's like, where is it at? My subconscious mind just keeps thinking, okay, I'm just going to show him, keep looking. So you should expect what you want to come in, but don't go looking for it. So when you see the signs, that's what happens. And that's a cause of the ego, man. See, what happens with this is, when we see signs and we know you're tuned into how the universe works, right? When you see these signs, you're tuned into how the universe works. Then you're going to have this ego, man, that's going to be watching you as well. And when the ego watches you, it's paying attention to what you're doing every day. And it sees the signs too, and it says, wait a minute, something's up here. This person, they're seeing this number. Maybe something's getting to manifest. But the thing with the ego is, the difference between the ego and the higher self is the ego has limited time. Higher self doesn't, which is you are the higher self. You don't have limited time. That's an illusion. You have eternal time. You have infinite time because you are an awareness. So what happens is our ego gets caught up by watching and saying, hey, man, where is it at? Where is it at? And then you fall for that. And you start looking around like, what should I do? You don't do anything. You know, you only can do what you can control. What you can't control, you just got to either change the way you view it or conform to it. That's it, because you're going to fight it. It's going to create resistance. Resistance is the blocker. Everything you want comes down to one thing. You ready for this? Surrender. Surrender. When you can surrender, you will get everything. When you surrender, you have woven yourself into the fabric of creation. When you surrender, you've woven yourself into the quantum field. Well, why is that? Because what are you? You are an awareness. That's all you are. You're just aware. You're a consciousness. The only reason you feel alive and everything right now is because the energy of your consciousness is into your brain, and your brain processes this as energy, electrochemical energy, and you have an identity based on a program with your name, etc. That's the only reason you're aware that I am Mark, or you're who you are. But once the body shuts down and everything goes, the awareness goes back into that field, and that field is everything. So if you surrender yourself, it's like you going back to that field. So it's like a double positive thing. When you surrender, you're in the field, but you also have the awareness of the 3D. See that? So you get like a 2-for-1. So it's like the best of both worlds, because you surrender, you know that, all right, I'm back to my natural state of just being, but I'm also aware that I'm in the 3D, and I'm also aware that I'm going to get what I desire. In other words, this is like watching your desire from behind the scenes. See? It's watching your desires behind the scenes. Celebration Sharon says, how can I manifest a new car quickly in a weekend? Can't do that. The fact that you're trying to do something quickly, that's going to create resistance. In a weekend, you're using your ego. Okay, I'm going to put it like this. To manifest anything quickly, you got to act like there's no quickly. That makes sense. I repeat that. To manifest anything quickly, you have to act as if there's no such thing as quickly. That's just how it works. Because here's what happens. When you're trying to manifest something quickly, you're going to have the ego, which is going to create resistance. But when you just manifest, it becomes quickly. So what you should say is, how can I manifest a new car? That's it. Don't put quickly or in a weekend, because that's where you mess up the formula. Remember, there's two variations working here. There's the conscious and the subconscious. One of them is very logical, very 3D oriented, very time present, very linear present, full of frustrations. The other one is pure existence, pure nature, pure consciousness. It knows everything to get you everything. So that's why when you're going to create or manifest anything in your life, you got to leave the time variable out of this stuff, because when you use time, it's going to really mess you up, because there is no time in the subconscious world. The subconscious world is where you create the physical world. So you have to understand those things, guys. Spice Denise says, a guru told us to soak our feet in water and add salt for the earth element. Yeah, there you go. That's a good way to ground. Is my Beamer manual or SMG? It was SMG, but I swapped it to a manual now. Actually, I have it in the shop, so I'll be having it soon, doing some upgrades. How you doing? Good, guys. What happens when you feel a change on the cellular level while saying affirmations? So when you say an affirmation, you feel a change on a cellular level. That's an indication it's about to become the physical level. Remember, everything must come from the invisible to the visible. Nothing pops visible. Everything has to have a creative course, a cause and effect. So always remember, everything must change from the smallest, then becomes the biggest. So what does that mean? It means that even sometimes you're manifesting and you feel like you're not moving or nothing's happening. There is something happening. But you understand something, guys. Your senses can't see everything and pick up every particle. So even when you feel like you're stuck, it's impossible to be stuck because there's things going behind the scenes. In the quantum realm, in the subconscious mind, there's things maneuvering, there's things manifesting. So you're not going to get stuck. You can't be stuck. Stuck is a perception, it's an illusion, it's an ego thing, it's a mind, it's a conscious mind thing. It's impossible to be stuck. Your cells right now are in a movement state. You're constantly shifting into a different reality as I speak, a different vibration as I speak right now. Can we heal physical scars with the soul? Yes, subconscious can heal anything. It controls the cells. Healing is in the subconscious. Manifesting is in the subconscious. Higher awareness is in the subconscious. Everything is through the subconscious to the higher self. The only thing in the ego is the ability to perceive, to desire, to love, to be aware, and to know what you want. That's it. The ego is just there to see the stuff, to interpret the stuff, for you to put it to work. But the actual part of you to get the stuff, to get into this physical 3D, you have to channel it to the unconscious mind. Mark, would you please help me understand the meaning of 808 and 977? Sure. So all you do is, to find those meanings, you can go to Google and just type in your number, 808 997. Boom. Shows you right there. Who's this we got? Gigi Nails Beauty said, but when we play the lottery, there's a specific time. If you can't manifest for a specific time, how does that work with the lottery? No. There is no specific time with the lottery. When I won the lottery, there was no specific time. The time is an illusion. So if you're going to play the lottery, that's a myth. How's there a specific time with the lottery? I mean, I played the Fantasy 5. It took me over a year to win, and I won, and I did pick 4. Sometime I get them in 3 months, 4 months. So I just manifested. When the time came, the time came. There was no time that said, all right, you're going to play today, you have until tomorrow to win. So no, there's no specific time with the lottery. First of all, there is no specific time in anything. That's a concept of the matrix. That's a brainwash program you're fed. That's the issue we have. You always think that time is running out. Time cannot run out. It's Bella Code. Is the Quantum Chosen One? Yeah, the podcast is finished. But I'm going to do a podcast on my regular channel. But this is like a podcast right here. You can, if you want to come in and talk, you can come in and talk. What is the golden moon? Oh, I love this one here. This is Akazi Mipro. What's your golden rule for manifestation? Man, that's a great question. So my golden rule for manifestation is surrender. When you surrender, you see the field clearer. Then you can create and manifest. It's all about surrender or letting go. When you can let go of a particular outcome, when you can let go if you don't know how or when, if you can just have faith and know it's what you want and see it's going to happen, but you don't care when, that's the true law of manifesting. Because when I said this, man, when you surrender, you become entangled with the fabric of the universe. You're back to your natural state of awareness. So think about this. When you relax, what is that? That's surrender. When you get tense, right? See, surrender is powerful. Like if your muscles are tense, but if you relax yourself, you notice like, man, I feel better. I don't have that much stress. Take a nice deep breath. You surrender. Yeah. So who's this here? Original Beauty. Oh, it says, oh, so you just played the lottery and knew that it was going to happen without picking a specific date for it to. Yeah, that's. You cannot pick specific dates because the date's not up to you. That's your ego. The, when something happens, it's always up to the higher mind. It's always up to divine time. It's always up to your authentic self. People plan every day and things don't go according to their plan. So it shows that it's not up to you. We can plan, but nothing is promised. That's that's just how things work. There's no certainty in this stuff. It's a myth. Uncertainty is the best way because uncertainty creates surrender. When you surrender, you're open for everything, for all good possibilities. It's just an experience. What if you don't want to manifest anything? Will that mindset manifest or attract more to you? Yeah, but you're always going to create something. But what you're saying, you're not needing anything attracts everything. So it means like, let's say you want to manifest something, but you don't care too much about how or when it comes in. That's when you're going to more likely get stuff in. See how it works? Yeah, the surrendering is the key to everything. Letting go. Because what do we like to do? We like to control. We like to see things. As human beings, we always go through what we call our different stages. We like our comfort zone. You know, look, we're all going to go through things in our life. Nothing's not going to stay the same. There's always going to be change. Things will happen. Illness. Things happen in our lives. You know that. No one, no one will ever have this all perfect thing because you have to experience the ebb and flow of the universe of life so that you can create. And when you think about it, like we go through emotional stuff, pain, emotional pain, even physical pain. What are they? They're just stimuli. They're signals that our brain creates. And what happens is sometimes when we resist something, the pain, we resist the uncomfortableness of what's happening, it makes it worse. It makes it more. But most of the time, when you just surrender and you say, look, it is what it is. I'm going to change my perception of this. I'm going to see it getting better. Then things naturally start to become better for you because you're not fighting it no more. You're accepting it. And that's the biggest obstacle to overcome, to accept something, because the ego don't like to accept. The ego likes to take charge. Humility, when you can accept it and say, all right, look, I've done all I can. I'm just going to leave this to the universe. I'm going to focus on what I can focus and what I can create and what I can manifest. And then I'll let whatever takes care of itself, takes care of itself. All right? We have here, T.T. Sabera says, Mark, can you please explain free will versus creating reality in destiny? Well, here's the thing that I've come to discover, man. That we've already been here so many times that we have already set up everything. So there's not like a free will is kind of like an illusion. And the illusion is this, is that we have the ability to pick which direction we're going to go. But when you come here, whatever's happening in your life, whatever you're going through, it was something that was set up by you a while ago to help you to do something, to make you something better. And it's going to be good for you because, you know, if you couldn't handle it, you wouldn't be going through it. Things always work out in your favor, guys. But you have to accept that. But the ego can't accept that. But you can accept that whatever's happening in your life is going to be something good. It's going to be something beneficial. Always remember, it's not forever. It's temporary. Celebration says, I practice gratitude daily. I also bless everyone I pass everywhere I go. Yeah, that's one of the best ways to get into, you know, being grateful and happy is practice gratitude. Is understanding the bigger picture. All right. We got Elena Cass says, do I have to stop saying affirmations and visualize in order to surrender? No, Look, surrender doesn't have anything to do with your affirmations or visualization, guys. Surrender, what surrender is talking about is holding on to a particular need or outcome. That's all. Surrender is letting that go. You can visualize and affirm and be in surrender state. Surrender is the opposite of attachment. That's all. Surrender is just like, look, I'm going to do my affirmations. I'm going to do my visualizations, and I'm just going to let the universe bring this to me when the universe says I'm ready to bring it to me. Yep. Celebration says, I remind myself things are always working out for me. Yeah. And remember, everything is temporary. Nothing is permanent. So you have solace to know that. Which is the best way to rewire your brain for good positive affirmations? Subliminals or hypnotherapy or hypnosis? Best ways. Auto hypnosis using subliminals, affirmations, focusing on what you want, being grateful, practicing gratitude. Those are the best ways that you can rewire your brain. So I want you to understand that surrender has nothing to do with stop saying your affirmations. Mantras, right? Yeah, mantras are good. Cuban 200 says, why do good people get mostly hurt by the people they trusted and helped? Well, because as human beings, some people are just wired to take advantage of people. That's how. Remember, guys, human beings, we're animals. We're just a higher version of animals. So we still have the monkey brain, the ego. So we're still going to have limited perceptions, limited views. And some of that will come off as taking advantage of other people. So people will do that. So what you have to understand is, and most of the time when people do stuff to you like that, when people take advantage and they do things that seem bad, it's really not about you. It's more about the hurt, the block, the low self-esteem, the faulty map they have of themselves, and they play that out on you. So someone asked me the question earlier, saying, what is the next biggest thing to manifest? What's the next secret? I said the first one, surrender. Here's the next one to manifest anything. Stop taking things personal. You should never let people control your energy. I know it's easier said than done. But those two would be the most powerful. Stop taking things personal. Nothing is personal. When you stop taking things personal, when you surrender, when you adjust, when you change your perception, when you learn to become present, when you can take it one day at a time and stop looking ahead into the future or the past, and a lot of things will start to shrink and the reality becomes clear, your intention becomes clear, your destiny becomes clear, your purpose becomes clear, because now you're in the zone, I call it. Is sin part of the matrix too? Well, that's interesting. What if I tell you there's no such thing as sin? What if I tell you everything is just duality? There just is. There's just a perception of how you view stuff. Good, evil. Ego would be considered the devil. Higher self would be considered God. The ego is the one that's in the material, is in the program, is the one that wants you to do negative stuff. So all of the word sin, where did that come from? That's a man-made stuff. The matrix, all of that is made up. Religion, all that stuff. So when we're talking about the universe, here's what you need to know. How to get into the zone? Surrender. Stop taking things personal. Live each moment. Forget about tomorrow, next week. But look, here's the grand scheme of things. All you are is an awareness of an awareness of an awareness. You know what that means? All you are is the awareness of this environment. What is the environment? Your senses. What are your senses? Perceptions of electromagnetic chemical reactions to your brain. That's all you are. Every person you ever interact with, every person you ever see, most likely they don't even exist. You don't even exist. I'm talking here deep and big picture here. So don't look at this as a literal physical. What this guy talking? If you understand what I'm saying, I'm talking about something deeper on a quantum level, because everything comes in by light. The only world that exists is the world inside your head or my head. All of us have our own movie. Everyone that's in my world, in my life, is a product of my creation, of my attraction. They're in my movie. Everyone's in the same thing in yours. So when you understand that everything that's happening has a direct correlation, a cause and effect by you, then that's when you start to wake up and say, oh man, this is deep. There is only the awareness of the awareness. There's only the consciousness of your existence. That's all there is. It downloads into this brain of yours, and you become a human. And then when you leave, it goes back out into the field, and then it goes into another host, another you. It could be here. It could be a parallel universe. It could be another dimension. It's an infinite cycle that continues over and over and over. The only reason we feel suffering, we feel depression, and all these things is because these are physiological things that are conditioned in a three-dimensional world through the brain's chemistry, through certain chemicals, dopamine, serotonin, through environments, through people. These are the things that make us feel these type of ways because we try to be good to people. We want people to like us. We take things personal. That's the if suffering, all that stuff comes in there, pain and all that stuff. I'm not saying pain isn't real. You can feel pain, yes, but there are ways you can get your mind to tune out certain things. Your brain is a remarkable machine. Your brain can tune things out over time. It may take time, yes, but the brain is an adaptive machine. But you have to understand that it's possible. A Sun Natural says, how do you let go of regret and feeling heavy in your spirit in the morning? Like feeling with 3D reality, all the things to go with that. Okay, usually when we come to regret, it's something about the past or the impending future. And it's all about surrendering again. Anytime, I'm telling you, man, anytime we have regret, depression, or something like that, it's always something to do with the past or the thinking in the future. If we can only get ourselves centered to understand that all of this isn't that serious. It's all just an experience. It's a game. It's not going to last forever. It's temporary. You're not going to always be sick. You're not going to always be broken. Just like you're always up, you're not going to always be down, you know? So you have to understand that. And once you understand that, then the healing starts to work faster. Yeah, it's an individual perspective, yeah. If this is my game, my move, we got Blaine here, says if this is my game, my move, and you're teaching me right now because this is my script, aren't you actually me? Yes, all of us are we and he and me and she. We're all it because we're one consciousness, but we're just seeing things from a different fractal. So yeah, you're actually correct. We're just seeing it from a different fractal. Remember, there's infinity here. Everything is infinite. There's infinite versions. Yeah, 10 Bell 10 says there's infinite versions of yourself because, infinite amounts. Correct. Yep. So each one is each one. But because our consciousness, the way we work, our consciousness can split up and take a form of a different perspective or a different person. That's called a fractal. But it's still the whole. Like the example I like to use is a tree. Trees have branches. Each branch could create their own fruit. One branch could have good fruit, the other branch can be, but they're still connected to the tree. The tree is the source. So yeah, we are like the tree and we're branches of the same tree. That's the easiest way to make this so you can understand. Ace Unnatural says everyone is in their own universe. The universe is inside of you. It's not out there. If you think about it, how do you perceive stuff? Inside, brain, activity, light, photons, electrochemical signals we see. And what makes things connect is because everything is connected. So as we as a collective subconscious or consciousness, everything's connected. Remember I told you, separation is illusion. Everything is connected. You and I and every human being on this single planet is connected. So even your thoughts, some of the thoughts you're getting aren't even your thoughts, man. The negative thoughts, the depressed thoughts, they're not yours. You're just picking up the frequency because we're always attuning. It depends on how you feel. When you don't notice, when you feel good, you pick up good thoughts. When you feel bad, you pick up negative thoughts. But here's how the thoughts work. When you pick up a thought, the brain grabs the thought and then use your voice to interpret the thought. So when the voice comes in, you hear your voice, you think it's your thought. It's not that. The brain only takes the thought to make it your voice so you can recognize the thought. That's what the brain does. So that means every thought that comes in your head, even the voice sounds like yours, it's not you. It's an impersonator. Oh, we got fashion. Says, so then our thoughts can reach people to bring the desire into the physical. Yes, if the people are receptive to the frequency of your thought, if they're open like you're open. If they aren't open, it's not going to work. Because we have the ability to what? Tune in, tune out. We have the ability to decide. Or see, we have something powerful. We have what's called our attention, man. That's the most powerful currency is our attention. This is more powerful than money because with attention and focus, you can create money. You can do all that stuff. Your attention is very powerful. They fight for your attention every day. I mean, you see this all the time. They fight for your attention through social media, through the news, because they understand how valuable your attention is. Your attention creates reality. Your attention creates the world. They know this. So that's why you have to cultivate and care for your attention. Notice where you're going to put your attention. Where's my attention? My attention is like very important, just like your imagination. So how do you tune into money frequency? You tune into the money frequency by giving yourself permission and knowing that you are worthy. When you can see that you're worthy and you don't feel doubt or lack in your ability and you accept yourself for who you are, that's when you tune into the money frequency. You can't tune into money frequency if you're broken, if you don't feel you deserve it. Money frequency is about feeling deserving in the self. I know you say, well, that doesn't have anything to do with money. It has everything to do with money because money is a byproduct of you feeling deserving. See, anything you want, you have to feel deserving. If you don't feel deserving, it can't come in. I mean, if you think about that deeply, man, it's all about giving your look, and you see how everything is connected. Feeling deserving goes back to what? You, your interpretation, your field of view. See how stuff works? You see how this stuff is coming in? It's saying that you are the only one in this universe. I am the only one here. Every one of you are just like an interpretation of my conscious awareness. I'm seeing you, and you're on your other perspective in your other universe, which your consciousness, seeing me, but yet we're all the same one. And look, this is going to be confusing for you to understand because this goes beyond the mind. This goes beyond the ego. But if you understand physics and the laws of the universe, then this will start to make a little sense to you. But I don't expect you to just jump and say, oh, yeah, man. You have to think about this. Maybe you have to rewatch this a couple of times to just understand it. But I'm trying to make it as simple as possible as I can see. I use a tree example. A tree is the source. The branches are connected. So each branch can have it doing its own thing, but they're all the tree. They all come together and they all communicate. That's what we are. So the point is, we all will get what we want based on what we focus on and what we feel. Now, look, I'm not going to tell you it's easy. I'm not going to sit here and tell you, man, when you see Mark, you say, oh, man, Mark looks so positive. Mark's always doing stuff. I'm just like you. There's things I struggle with or I continue to. There's times in my life. I go through depression. I go through anxiety. I go through stuff. Stuff happened in my life too. But the thing is, for you to help someone, you have to be flawed as well. So Mark isn't perfect. Take solace that I have to work on my mind as well. I still go through stuff. I'm just like you. I'm flawed. You have to be flawed to teach. Otherwise, you don't know the good or the bad, the up and the down. People think, oh man, I have to have this positive mindset, man. I got to be like Mark. I got to be positive every day. No, man. You just got to be yourself. You're human, just like me. I go through the same thing you go through. There's days when I don't feel it. There's days when things happen in your life. You're hopeless. You don't feel it. That's a human 3D conception. But what you have to do is you have to see the big picture and understand what you are is the awareness that it's not forever, it's temporary, things will get better. The biggest thing about this is overcoming the doubt and the ego, is to get that subconscious, to convince that subconscious things are possible, things will change. Because, especially, let's say sickness or something physical, you go through that stuff. Sometimes you don't feel like there's no hope because your mind just sees the sickness, it just sees the uncomfortableness, it sees the stress. But you have to understand that there was a point when there wasn't a stress. There's a point when you were feeling good, right? So things are going to go always like this. So you don't have to be perfect, man. You're all right to have doubts, to feel down, to have negative feelings. That's it. I have them just like you. When I get up here to talk to you, sometimes I'm talking to you and I'm going through this negative